Hi Case Cooks, my name is Professor Spetz and today I will be demonstrating for you the fajitas. So we have a very exciting chicken fajita recipe. It's the sheet pan pineapple chicken fajitas, and this goes along with our Keep It Simple, Make It Quick lecture. So everything we're talking about here is going to be nutritionally jam-packed, but you're going to get one meal basically in one pan. So first things first, I want to start with my cutting board and I want to cut up all my vegetables. So I have my onion here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and slice my onion. One thing when I'm slicing an onion, I want to make sure that my fingers are curled in so that I do not cut the tips of my fingers off. Awesome. And for this particular recipe, I'm just going to slice it in half once. So this is not a dice. The pieces are going to be longer. And then I'm actually going to have a plate up here that you can't really see, but I'm going to put them on my plate and we're going to save them for later. Whenever we have vegetables to chop up, we always want to chop up the vegetables first. Now I have half of our recipe baking in the oven now so that we can kind of see it go through to fruition a little bit faster. Here's my pepper. I already cut half of it, but I'm going to show you my trick for cutting a pepper. And my trick is that I cut around. So you can see here I'm cutting around the seed part. I take that middle and I put it in my compost pile over here. I'm going to do the same thing before I do anything else. I'm going to do the same thing with my green pepper. I already cut up half of it, but I'm going to do the same thing over here. And then I'm going to chop these guys up. So same thing, I'm going to curl my fingers. I'm going to chop into thinner strips and then cut in half and then put on my plate for later. We're going to be chopping chicken here in a second, so I want to make sure that we don't have any issues with contamination, because we always want to make sure that any raw meat products do not touch any of our vegetables. All right, last thing, we have a jalapeno pepper here, this little guy. And you can put as much or as little as you want in this. Now, my family doesn't really love jalapeno pepper. And I cut this just how I cut the little peppers. I'm sorry, the bigger peppers. Just cutting around. It's smaller, so this kind of helps you avoid having to pick out all the seeds. Now this guy I'm going to dice into smaller pieces because nobody wants to get a big chunk of jalapeno pepper when they're biting into their fajita. Oops. One thing you can always do is you can kind of gather everything up if you have small pieces on your knife and then drop it into your bowl or plate or wherever. Now, one thing I like to do after jalapeno pepper, don't touch your face. Make sure you don't touch your face. Go ahead and wash your hands because the hotness of the jalapeno pepper can burn your eyes. That's not very comfortable. I'm gonna just check over here. Ooh, we have about 10 seconds left before our first guy is ready to come out of the oven. So I'm gonna get my hot pads ready. Turn off my timer. Always a good idea to set your timer. I'm going to take my well-loved hot pads here. And you can see my chicken and my vegetables have been baking for a while. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to stick this back in the oven. But I'm going to put the oven on broil. And I'm going to broil it on high for about 3 minutes. That's all we want, is about 3 minutes. All right, now we're going to cut up some chicken. I have 2 chicken breasts here. When we cut up our chicken, we want to actually cut it, I find it easiest to cut it with the grain, okay? Oops, and look, I left this little pepper on here. Since the chicken is contaminated, I don't want to use this anymore, so I'm going to put this in my compost bin. So you'll notice there's little lines in the chicken. We call that the grain. So when we're making tenderloins or small pieces, we're going to go with the grain here. Cut nice and slow. And once we have these pieces ready, they're going to look about like this. We're going to put them in our big bowl over here. We're going to do the same thing with this guy. This one's a little bit thicker. This breast is a little bit thicker than the other one. So you notice you have kind of a thicker piece here. I'm actually going to cut those in half. So we don't have to worry at all about the chicken not being cooked through when all is said and done. And then we're going to take this mix here and we are going to put our spices, our oil, right in with the chicken. We're going to take our lime and we're going to squeeze the lime juice over the chicken. And then we can put that in our compost bin. We're going to mix the spices and the oils and the lime together. Oops, something that kind of happens, I forgot something. I forgot to put my honey in. So I'm going to wash my hands because no cross-contamination in this kitchen, thank you. We're going to follow all of our hand washing rules. We're putting 1 tablespoon of honey on top of our chicken mixture. I'm just guesstimating here. Perfect timing. All right. Our broiled chicken is about finished here. And here we are, delicious. I'm gonna let that cool. One thing I am gonna do though, I'm gonna go ahead and take my corn tortillas. They're a little firm right now, they're cold. They just came out of the refrigerator, so I'm gonna stick them in my warm oven, warm them up a little bit. So we have our chicken mixture here. We're gonna throw our vegetables right in with it. I've got 2 little kids, so usually this kitchen is just full of noise. We're gonna mix everything up in the bowl here. Now, notice I set my bowl on top of where I cut my chicken, so I really don't want to move this bowl. Super important. We want to wash our hands, keep everything nice and clean. All right, so we're gonna look over at our chicken mixture here, and we're gonna make our fajitas. Take our little corn tortillas out of the oven. Oh, hi Lillian. Would you like to sample some corn tortillas? All right. Lillian, what's your favorite food?
Fruit.
Fruit? Okay. Guess what's in this particular dish that we're making today? Do you know what's in it?
No.
Probably not. There's pineapple in it. Do you like pineapple?
Yes.
All right. Lillian, do you like cooking?
Yes.
Excellent. So you can see here, students, we just want to make sure that we get our chicken onto our corn tortillas so we can taste it. I'm going to give Lillian here a little taste. Make sure she gets the pineapple side that she likes. Can you take a little taste for my class? It's a little hot. Excellent. Sheet pan pineapple chicken fajitas. They come together in minutes. And as you can see, we have 2 helpings going on, 2 servings. So you'll be able to make these for dinner and then repurpose them for lunch in the future for leftovers or dinner the next night. Keep it simple, make it quick. Thank you so much for joining me.